Over the course of its many seasons on air, Family Guy has thoroughly established itself as a series that's not afraid to take a joke too far, but some characters cross the line more often than others. On more than a few occasions, Stewie has taken things way too far, though some are more memorable than others. So sit back and enjoy, because today we'll be talking about 10 times Stewie Griffin went too far. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications on to get notified whenever Screen Empire drops more videos like this. Stewie impregnates himself. While their relationship has been adversarial at times, Brian and Stewie have become quite close over the years. They've gone on numerous adventures together, but that close relationship can make each of them do some pretty strange things, particularly Stewie. In Stewie in Enciente, Stewie felt like Brian was ignoring him, so he quite literally impregnated himself with Brian's kids. It took the meaning of messed up to a whole new level.
Is it dead?
Eventually, Stewie gave birth to a litter of hybrid offspring. Then, in a move that was completely on brand for Stewie and Brian, they dumped them at the nearest animal shelter and walked away as if nothing had happened. Stewie on steroids. One of the many things Stewie does not deal with well is losing, and he lost in a big way at a backyard party at the Swansons. Joe's baby daughter Susie absolutely kicked his butt in front of everyone. Wasn't a good look for him.
Ha! Your kid got beat up by a baby girl!
And was a moment that sent him over the edge. In what was an extreme overcorrection in the classic episode Steroids, Stewie started working out like crazy, taking steroids in an attempt to get tougher. And all of this was in an effort to fight another baby. As is often the case, nothing worked out as planned. Where's my money? Owing Stewie money is not a good idea, something Brian found out the hard way. When he lost a bet on a fight between Mike Tyson and Carol Channing, he ended up owing Stewie $50. That was Brian's first mistake. His second was not paying Stewie back right away. Throughout the episode Patriot Games, Stewie savagely beat Brian on multiple occasions. That included pushing his friend down the stairs and torching him with a flamethrower.
Where's the money?
Again, do not end up owing Stewie money under any circumstances. Things get nasty real fast. Kills new Brian. When Peter started worrying about Brian getting older in the episode The Man with Two Brians, he got a new family dog who he insensitively named New Brian. As it turned out, New Brian was kind of a jerk and wasn't a suitable replacement for classic Brian. New Brian eventually revealed to Stewie that he humped his favorite teddy bear and said Rupert loved it.
Well, Rupert seems to like my humping.
Although at the time Stewie looked unfazed in response, he straight up murdered New Brian, opening the door for Brian's return. Blackmailing Brian. Brian has had a long-standing crush on Lois, which makes things kind of awkward with Peter. Or it would if Peter was aware enough to realize what was going on. In the episode Brian in Love, this led to Brian peeing all over the house, which he promptly blamed on Stewie. Knowing how much emotional stress Brian was under, Stewie still went into full vengeance mode on him and framed Brian for peeing on almost everything. He extended this into a strange blackmail attempt, one that set the tone for their relationship as best frenemies. Kills babysitter's boyfriend. Stewie tends to fall hard when he falls in love. Time and time again, his feelings have led him astray and into a rough situation. This pattern repeated itself with his babysitter LaDawn in the Season 4 episode 8 Simple Rules for Buying My Teenage Daughter. Naturally, she rejected his affections as he's a baby, so Stewie drugged her and framed her. This led to Lois firing her. As crazy as this sounds, that wasn't even the worst part. Stewie forgot he captured and trapped LaDawn's boyfriend. He remembered weeks later, long after the young man had perished. Whoops. Killing Bertram. Living life the way Stewie does tends to bring out the worst in other people. That was certainly the case with his longtime rivaled half-brother Bertram. He was another super intelligent baby with an arsenal of advanced weaponry and a bad attitude to match. After battling each other through time during the episode titled The Big Bang Theory, Bertram attempted to kill their mutual ancestor Leonardo da Vinci. Stewie got the upper hand and finally killed Bertram before he could complete his mission. That one might have been justified. Stewie doesn't jump in Vegas. Possibly one of Family Guy's best recurring episode formats are Brian and Stewie's various road trips together. On more than one occasion, they've taken musical adventures to a number of places, which includes hitting up Las Vegas during the appropriately titled Road to Vegas episode. This adventure involved the accidental creation of clones of Brian and Stewie. The original Brian and Stewie lost all of their money and upset some loan sharks, which caused some very real problems. To avoid being killed by the loan shark, Brian and Stewie decided they were going to both kill themselves by jumping off a building. But Stewie bailed right as Brian jumped. The worst part is that there was a mix-up, and the loan shark killed the clone Stewie, meaning Brian didn't need to jump. Fortunately, there was a normal Stewie and a clone Brian left, so they both got home as soon as they could and never talked about it again.
Hey.
Stewie lets his therapist die. Sending Stewie to a therapist was long overdue. He was conflicted and constantly at odds with who he truly was inside, something that he has yet to truly come to terms with. At the same time, Stewie isn't someone who opens up easily. When his therapist betrayed his trust during the course of "Send in Stewie, please," Stewie was left with a hard choice to make when the therapist had a heart attack. But Stewie quickly decided he didn't want anyone to know the real Stewie, so he stood there and let him die. Oddly enough, his work in therapy paid off to an extent, as Stewie actually admitted to feeling somewhat bad about what had happened. Getting Connie D'Amico arrested. Some of the shenanigans that Stewie and Brian get into start out as bets. In this case, Stewie bet Brian that he could become the most popular kid at Chris and Meg's school in the episode known as McStroke. After putting on a disguise, Stewie was successful in his mission. Well, he was until popular mean girl Connie D'Amico outed him for having a small penis. Stewie got his revenge by framing her as a pedophile and getting her arrested. It was a pretty savage move, considering he was the one who was completely deceiving her in the first place.
Look! This girl is making out with a baby!
Those are 10 times that Stewie Griffin took things way too far. Have your own suggestions for alternate entries on this list? We'd love to read them. Feel free to drop your suggestions in the comments below. And make sure you like and subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos from Screen Empire.